Come to you live from the Intelligent Health Innovation Showcase here at the Health and Knowledge Precinct at Griffith University Hospital. And I have with me Alex Moss from Canaria. How are you, Alex?
I'm very well today, thank you very much.
So I've been asked to interview you because I understand you just did a pitch inside and had some raving reviews. So tell us about Canaria. What is Canaria?
Okay, I'm going to use the fun summary of Canaria that a random youth on the street provided me with the other day, which is mining cyborgs. What this actually means, right?
Mining cyborgs.
Mining cyborgs. What this really means is that we're coming up with a first-generation predictive medical device to counter fatigue. So we're doing this earpiece that picks up on an array of vital signs in real time. So we can pick up on heart rate variability, blood oxygen levels, temperature, respiratory rate, and head position. We analyse this data in order to find parameters for predicting serious medical events. Okay, so where does the fatigue come in with the mining cyborgs, right? This means that we can predict and prevent fatigue-related accidents in the mining industry before they happen. So fatigue causes 60% of all accidents in the heavy industries. So this is a loss of tens of millions a day, billions of dollars a year. Roughly 2.5 billion was lost last year due to fatigue-related accidents. Still uncertain about the figures because there's no way of formally recording it yet, except for one or two technologies out there, which is, hey, where we come in with this. So, we prevent massive accidents in the mining industry before they happen with our artificial intelligence biopredictor system and our crazy little earpieces that we originally designed for NASA, actually, and now we're specialising them here in the mining industry in Australia.
So tell me about how you came to design those for NASA. How did that happen?
Well, this was at a NASA hackathon a year and a half ago in London. So I'd done some research beforehand to counter the huge problem that they had of CO2 pockets building up in the International Space Station. So to give the viewers a frame of reference here, NASA, I'm not sure how much can I do? I don't want to slag them off. They basically cocked up the ventilation system. They now have a solution for it, but at the time they didn't. So instead of having to replace the whole ventilation system, I came up with a CO2 detector device that you wear around the ear. My co-founder, Dr. Rob, was also there. He'd been an electronic engineer for 30 years. When we were developing this, he suggested, okay, counterintuitively, if you're doing an ear cuff, why don't you put pulse oximetry there and do a real-time feed of vital signs and be a CO2 monitor? Because the other problem that NASA had was that they only take vital signs measurements from their astronauts every 30 to 60 days, unless you are the unlucky astronaut who gets the short straw, and then you have to do something like a bone density study for a few weeks where it's just a full suit of wires. The astronauts absolutely hated this. So for us to come up with this alternative that solved two of their problems at the same time, as you can imagine, NASA absolutely loved that. So we went on very quickly to win their global award for best use of hardware last year. We realized during that process, okay, let's do a biopredictor system as well, because now we can actually do that fairly easily, thankfully, due to recent developments over the last 5 years. And we have a wireless component, so you don't need any wires with this too. We came to realize that there are about 12 different markets that this could be useful in. If we were sticking just in the space industry, which is where this emerged, only 6 people ever get to use it, which is the astronauts aboard the International Space Station.
What a waste.
Yeah. So we quickly thought, okay, we can seriously do a first-generation predictive medical device. Where is this most useful? We came to that realization of the mining industry has huge amounts of accidents, lots of deaths every year, huge waste of money, and then also, of course, healthcare. So we're going into mining, one, to solve the problems that are already there, but two, to build a platform for ourselves with our research to be able to easily expand into healthcare within the next 5 to 7 years.
That's sensational. What a story. So essentially the hackathon, did you go into the hackathon with the idea, or was it developed at the hackathon?
Well, I originally came up with the idea, which was the ear cuff for CO2 monitoring. I had about 5 days to come up with that concept and just head in and blitz it. So I turned up on my own, pitched in the morning. With a lot of these hacking events, if you haven't been to one already, you have the opportunity to either go and find a team and do a solution, or you can come up with a solution yourself a few days beforehand, pitch that, see if you get a team. So I did the latter, came up with an idea, pitched on my own, got 2 super electronic engineers on board, and within a few days we had proof of concept circuit board designs, 3D printable renders, and we already had quite solid use cases for on and off the International Space Station.
Amazing. Okay, so previous to Canaria, what business experience did you have?
So I set up 2 small businesses before Canaria, but they were in a totally different field. So I had done a fashion publication, and I had done an avant-garde curation and art dealership company.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Now you're in AI, tech,
Yeah.
healthcare, far out.
Yeah, I pieced out of art dealing like quite aggressively in London. So yeah, I hope people aren't going to find too many records of that online off the back of this now. But I was actually completely self-taught. So when I realized that I wanted to do a career change and go into technology, I ended up I called in a massive favor with two of my friends, Grant and Curtis. I'm saying this, I'm sure they'll probably watch this on YouTube afterwards. Super couple, gay priest and a fashion photographer. Just got their first assignment in Great Yarmouth, which is this town in the middle of nowhere, which is very close to my heart now. I called on a massive solid and basically lived in their garage for 9 months and taught myself rapid prototyping and got very much into medical devices. So
Awesome. I love this. So fashion design, yeah, okay. You know, I can see how you're a creative, obviously. So then that somehow you were inspired to get into prototyping and tech, and I think so. The other businesses too. I mean, what was happening in those businesses that really made you want to step away? You know, from them. Were they failing? Were they crash and burning, or were they doing okay and you just wanted to change?
Actually, both of them did really well. But I'd also set both of them up. The first one, I was actually still at school when I set that up, and then had to close that to do my A-levels. The second one at university, it was going really well, but then I had to sit my final year exams. I was like, there's just no way in hell I can continue to run a team of 15 people and do an art dealership and do this at the same time. So I closed it for that reason. But the industries themselves are absolutely phenomenal. There's so much talent there. But I wanted to move into something that gave me more logical challenges, and I could see the real world effects of design. Because I feel that design is most useful from a utilitarian modernist point of view. Form should follow function, but okay, what is that function? Are you going to create nice houses for very wealthy buyers? Or are you going to go in and try to redesign medical equipment in a way that it doesn't look like a medical device, and therefore more people are going to use it? So I just felt that design could be implemented in a really successful way in non-creative industries to great effect. So that's where that drive to switch up the industries came from.
Fantastic. So did you establish the market before you established what the product was? Or did you create the product and then find the market? How did that work out for you?
Oh God, like totally came up with the product before the market. Well, the product was originally made for the space industry, and it was made for research aboard the International Space Station. So it was a half-year process from the beginning of the company to working out what is the best market fit for us to go into. So for that, we were looking at what has the lowest barrier to entry, what will also still give you a lot of respect. We couldn't become a consumer device because they have notoriously high levels of false positives for reading. So we didn't want to associate ourselves with that. We couldn't go into consumer. Healthcare would have taken us 5 to 7 years to get to, with a very high success rate. Medical device startups have a very high failure rate. You can be spending 5 years and $500 million on a product that has over a 95% failure rate. So I was not willing to put myself or my company through that. So we came up with another business model, and we found a real need for what we were developing in the mining sector, and that's what's brought us over to Australia, which is the mining capital of the world, and they're just superb at health and safety. We've been so happy with what we've actually found here.
So how did you land here in Australia?
So we're a part of the Unearthed Accelerator program in Brisbane right now. They are absolutely superb. So they've invested in the company, and they're helping us get to market right now. So we are going to be doing our final demo day on the 6th of December at West Tech Fest in Perth.
On the other side of the country, for those of you who don't know. Right.
That's what brought us here.
Fantastic. And so, where to from here? I mean, firstly, how do people stay across what it is Canaria is doing? How do they best stay in touch with, next events?
Sure. Check out our website, canaria.co.uk. Follow us on Facebook, that's at Team Canaria. Twitter is also at Team Canaria. You can check out my personal Instagram, which follows more the design journey and the day-to-day crushing, non-stop tech startup life that I'm currently living, loving every second of it, but like the bags are very real at the same time. That's at Alex Serena Moss, SORINAMOSS on Instagram, and that's how you can reach out to us. You can also email, we've got so many avenues on social media right now. hello@Canaria is the generic email address if you want to reach out to us about anything.
Fantastic. And so where to from here? You know, what's the next big hurdle that you need to overcome in your company right now?
We're preparing for our first trial with a client right now in the resources sector. So that is going to take up all of our energy for the next few months to properly launch to market. We'll be doing that as soon as 2018 comes around. So we're preparing to actually get our equipment on miners in really the first section of next year. So,
what do you want from the audience? If you could tap into anybody out there or everybody out there, what do you want from them? How can they help you? It's a fantastic advice. I'm on board. So how can we help?
Okay, so for anyone out there, if you are a sleep science researcher, if you are a fatigue researcher, we want to hear from you. Also, we are looking to expand our development team in Brisbane right now. So if you are a Brisbane-based electronic engineer, if you are a Brisbane-based data scientist, if you are a Brisbane-based embedded software developer, we want to hear from you. So please contact us, hello@canaria.co.uk. Come have a coffee with us at River City Labs in the precinct in Fortitude Valley in Brisbane. We would love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Alex. And keep sharing, guys, because I think devices like this can really change the world. It's solving a huge problem. And yeah, try and get it in the camera.
Yeah,
Where's the camera?
That product shot. Oh yeah, so shiny. Look at it. Ugh.
So simple.
Yeah.
So simple. And share it out. Share it out. Thanks very much. We've got more coming to you from the Intelligent Health Innovation Showcase here at the Health and Knowledge Precinct. Follow us live on facebook.com/Beach City Life or search for us on YouTube. That's Beach City. Just search for that. Cheers.